I'm gonna show you how I got Jason's wife back in 6 weeks after she was having an affair with another man and filed for a divorce. Now, he used a method that, after a decade of doing this, I had never even considered. Once you use this technique for your marriage, along with the other two techniques that I found in our interview, it'll produce results like this.
She wants to reconcile, right? That's what she said? Okay,
Yeah.
so she wants to reconcile with you. She dissolved the divorce.
Today, yeah. Or my attorney just came through and told me today, but I was in the car yesterday when she did it.
Yeah, tell me about that, like when you found that out.
Now, before I get into that, let me show you what led to the affair and the mistakes Jason made after he found out.
I guess I knew things were bad, like it. There's signs and stuff, lack of intimacy, cold things like that. And gosh, I would say since January, and that's when she started hiding her phone and stuff. She was having an emotional affair with this guy in Minnesota. And
now for Jason, he found out about the affair like most men do.
Gosh, she would be kidding herself if she thought I didn't know, because she would always just give me her phone. She would leave her phone laying around. If we went out to eat and the baby wanted to watch something, she'd just put the phone wherever. And then all of a sudden guarded like crazy. And one day got home from dinner, and you know how the modern cars, your dashboard will push your text message through? Yeah, it came through. And she tried to tell me it was this guy that was fixing some stuff for us. And I was like, oh yeah, okay. And then something didn't feel right. And I went on next door where she had pulled the worker, and his name was like a completely different name. It was just a downward spiral from there.
This downward spiral is what so many men fall into after they found out their wife wants to leave them. And when he confronted her, this is what she said.
Denial. He's just a friend. He's just someone I've known, before I even knew you. And
now a lot of men ask themselves, why does their wife do this when they confront them? Why do they displace responsibility? Why do they not take ownership? It's so easy to label your wife as this scared liar who just doesn't take responsibility. And many other men's groups out there will give you that perspective as well. But it's a limited lie, and it's also a disservice to you. If you want to save your marriage, the truth from her perspective is that she is too scared to tell you these things, to not be truthful with you and afraid of how you'll react. This cultivated an environment where she doesn't feel emotionally safe, and she can't come forward with you with her honest emotions, especially in an affair. Does this excuse her actions? Absolutely not. She messed up and she hurt you, but adding shame and blame to her will only guarantee that she leaves you long term. Now, this is the first mistake that Jason made with his wife, and he decided to do this when he found out.
Man, my first instinct was, let's go to war. All right, you want to go to war? Let's go to war, and I started doing everything, you're supposed to do. And I went on all the not toxic, I wouldn't say toxic, but all the men's forums where guys are like, destroy her, absolutely, utterly destroy her.
These toxic forums are just a conglomerate of other men who are hurt and angry. And it's a giant confirmation bias that you should just take your wife down because all women are evil. However, Jason sat there one night and he said to himself, it feels good to get justification and, that she hurt me and all these men are around me telling me that I should just take her to the cleaners. But he asked himself, do I want to save my marriage? The answer he said was, yes, I want to keep my family together. If that's the case, let's take a different perspective. He was a smart enough man to put his ego aside, stop the naming and blaming game, take full ownership, and then this happened.
And then this morning, my paralegal, Sarah, Facebook messaged me saying, yay, she dissolved the divorce.
Now, before we jump into the 3 things that Jason did, I have to show you this one clip also that is vital to your success.
Right now, I'm super high. Like Sunday night and Monday, I didn't really believe it. But now I'm high, I'm real high, but that, just because I'm so high doesn't mean I don't realize, hey, there's a lot
of work to be done. Yeah.
Now, when you hear this first one, you may be confused when you first hear it, but just let me explain the whole thing.
Let's give yourself some credit to say like what you did correctly to get to where you're at now. So she ended it with the other guy. She resolved the divorce. She wants to reconcile. I know some things that probably you did do, but I want to hear from your own mouth. Like let's talk about 3 potential things that you've done in the course of the 6 weeks that kind of led to this improvement. So what was the first thing you would say that you did correctly?
Working out and dropping weight. Like I dropped like 20
How has that been helpful? Obviously from her, gaining some attraction from her. What else has that helped you with?
Myself, but she even told me, she goes, yeah, I can look at you and tell you've lost weight. And it's just good for me and it makes me feel good, as well.
So working out, what's another one that you think you did positively?
I have a core group of guys that are hungry, that want to make something, want to make some money. And I said, we're going to build an empire from the ocean to the mountains. So I'm from the mountains of New Mexico. We're going to have like rental properties and businesses and places we can just go live if we want to live on the coast or want to live in the mountains. I'm like, man, we're just going to build an empire from the ocean to the mountains. And that's going to be our, modern empire, right?
All right, I get it. You may be saying to yourself, really, Josh? Work out and build an empire? You're either already going to the gym multiple times a week and you either have an empire or you don't really have the motivation to build one. And you're absolutely right. These external actions aren't the real thing I'm about to teach you right now. These things have something buried underneath in common that you need to implement in your life. If you implement this, everything changes. You see, you used to cultivate this part of you, but over the years, you've lost it in the ether, in the void. It's gone away from you. And so many men fall into this trap. In fact, when I get on calls with guys, when they first come into my program, I can type in this word into a Google Doc, and I can see how many times it consistently comes up on every single call. And it has everything to do with who you've become over the years.
You know, that's one of the biggest problems with a lot of guys is we get complacent, right? Like, I'm comfortable. I got the woman, I have my kids, I have my solid job. Like, we go through the motions, but part of that masculine nature is like, where's my next edge? Where's my next thing I'm pushing towards myself that's hard, right? And for you, you're like, I want to build this empire, right? And it's not so much like the end goal, but the process of building that like builds up your self-esteem in the process, right? Jason, my favorite quote of all time, and like period, is it's not what you get by achieving your goals, but who you become in the process. And so by trying to build this empire, you're going to become an emperor, right? Like that's what she wants. She wants to be with this like king energy that you have inside of you.
You've given up. You haven't been on the edge as much as you used to. You haven't been striving for more. You've achieved so much success in your life. You've achieved the woman of your dreams. You have this beautiful marriage and these kids, but you become complacent. This complacency had you gain weight, you have less testosterone, you have less energy. It's not because of old age. It's because you stopped striving toward more in life. You stopped living on the edge, becoming a masculine man. You probably heard this quote before. Hard times create strong men. Strong men create good times. Good times create weak men, and weak men create hard times. You used to be strong. You used to be great. To be honest with yourself, no one has been pushing you. You are not around other men to challenge you day by day to become the best version of yourself. Am I right? This next technique is immensely powerful. See, right now, your relationship is like a house of cards. Now, like this deck of cards, it can topple over and crumble if not supported the right way. For many men, they don't support it the right way. But this next point is like tape supporting those deck of cards. I thought it was gonna go smoother than that. The tape is what holds the house together. Your house is that relationship. Let me show you how you can do that and how Jason did. Now I work with a lot of men and a lot of guys will say, Josh, I have forgiven her. I've forgiven her through Jesus Christ. I've forgiven her through all these different means. But ultimately, when I talk to them about the betrayal, the beautiful thing about the subconscious brain is they cannot hide emotions. Consciously, you think you've forgiven her, but you haven't. Because if you have any thoughts going back to those past betrayals or the things she's done to hurt you, which I understand, you haven't fully let them go.
How were you able to forgive her for the embarrassing things she said? And even like her talking to this other guy, that's a betrayal, right? So like, how are you able to let go of that?
I guess there's a couple of things. One, forgiveness is forgiveness. If you ask for something in return, it's not forgiveness, it's reparation.
Forgiveness is something where you don't ask anything in return. This is why I love having calls with the guys, because they give me so many insights. When you've forgiven her, were you expecting her to change things? If so, that wasn't forgiveness.
I think I'm trying to embrace this idea that the universe is an abundant place, and therefore the future is better than the past.
That belief system that you just laid out it'll create a self-fulfilling prophecy that if you believe the universe to be abundant, that's what it will provide you with. And whether you're religious or not, like one thing that I think every religion or philosophy can understand is that like if you believe that God or the universe is just this benevolent parent that just has pure love for you, and you recognize that you live congruently through that idea, and it provides for you, right?
Now you must see this pain as an opportunity for growth. And this last point is what blew me away when Jason told me about it. I never heard anyone talk about it. So when you listen to him say it, honestly, play back again and listen twice.
I don't have a word for it. I'm sure you have one. But what we call it kind of in like circles I run in, and we call it like an ego death. Like there was just a night, it was like a Saturday night where I broke down. Like, I'm not going to say, she's perfect. And that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying like, I broke down and I'm like, wow, like here's all the ways in which I'm a piece of crap. You know what I mean? And it hit me like, gosh, I've been so lazy and so mean and so angry and so just all these bad things, just evil thoughts, even like all that stuff. And it all just came crashing down.
Did you catch that? The man you are now is not the man that gets her back. The way you feel toward her, what you think, the actions you take every single day. Your emotions want to keep you in check. Your ego wants you to do the same thing. But those same results have gotten you to where you're at right now. You have to have this ego death. even though you're suffering probably more than you ever have in your life right now. This pain has a gift inside of it. For example, the reason why I have this whole entire business, besides witnessing my parents' divorce, in my personal journey, I met a girl that I wanted to marry in high school. I fell deeply in love with her. I thought she was perfect for me. I planned out my whole life with her. She came down here to San Diego for college. I went back up to school to try to play soccer. I was trying to be a professional soccer player, right? And I came down to visit her one day, and she was being distant more and more as she was down here. I started to get anxious. She was going out more, going to parties, and she was having all these guy friends. And I came down to San Diego, where I'm at now, and our whole relationship was based on sex. Pretty much, young teenage kids, all we did, and we wouldn't have sex even once. And she was blaming it on, oh, something's going on down there, or on my period. It was the whole week she was making excuses, and something just fell off. There's that intuition inside you, your gut feeling that just knows something's wrong. In the whole history of our relationship, I was obsessive of checking her phone and heart racing. I was going through it at night. Man, those times. And I remember I was about to leave, get on an airplane to come back to Northern California, and she was about to go to work. We're sitting in her truck, and I pleaded with her. I said, Alyssa, just tell me. I know something's wrong. Please, I deserve to know. Like, I don't care if it hurts me. I deserve to know the truth. I need to know the truth. Please. I was begging her. She paused. She looked at me. She said, fine, I'll text it to you. She had to go to work. She couldn't even tell me to my face. Sat there in her car. Those notification sounds were individual bullets scraping my heart, each one, as I read in detail everything she did with this guy. This guy is someone she left me for before on a break, and then she went back to him again. She told me that when I came to visit her, when she went to go see her friend, she was actually seeing this guy. I remember sitting in her truck, called my father, uncontrollably sobbing. I felt like this guy was better than me. I was worthless. I didn't deserve love. I was always going to be hurt. That was one of the lowest moments in my life, most painful. But it was the inception of all of this to be able to help you and so many other men. This pain you're going through is an ego death. You are going through a transformation. You could choose on this transformation to find the mentor, to seek help, to find wisdom within that pain, or go through the same cycle again. I want to show you a bonus thing that I found from Jason that I had to add to the end of this video. This point it's golden, so hear me out. Before I do, I want to let you know that you can set up a call with me or my team down below, but before you set up that call, you must be fully committed and be emotionally and financially invested into saving your marriage, because we get so many calls per day. If you aren't financially invested or emotionally invested, we will redirect you to some free resources. That being said, here's the bonus point.
I feel like the whole dang divorce was a test, almost.
Okay, I actually saw, I'm going to do a short on this today, a video short. I saw this divorce lawyer, this female divorce lawyer. She said she tracked a lot of the reasons why women are initiating divorce. She says 33% of women that initiate divorce are doing so as a test. The divorce lawyer said that. She's like, they want to let the husband know how serious they are about this change, and so they'll file divorce as a test. The freaking divorce lawyer literally said that. It's a third of them. So
what if your wife pulling away, getting cold, moving out was her ultimate test? She's thinking to herself, not on a conscious level, on a subconscious level, that underlying communication, I'm not sure if he's the man for me anymore. So I'm gonna push him away, see what he does. Is he gonna cower? Is he gonna come crawling back to me? Or is he gonna run away himself? Because to a woman, if you do either of those strategies, she convinces herself that you weren't the guy for her. It is a test. She is testing you. I don't care what the words that are coming out of her mouth. It's over, it's done, why are you trying? Get with the next woman. I've heard it all before. And all those women, I've heard every single woman say that, and then a couple months later, they're back with their husband because they stepped up and became that man. There is a path forward for you. I save marriages every single day, and I want to save yours.